It's time to jump into Devin's Song Reviews Live here on May 14th of 2022. To start off the show today, this is 87 and Pine with Crossbones and Cherry Mistakes.
Crossbones and cherry mistakes, you know just how I feel. Crossbones and cherry mistakes, every bit of your heart is fake. Crossbones and cherry mistakes, you know just how I feel. Crossbones and cherry mistakes, everything can make your heart break. Crossbones and cherry mistakes, you know just how I feel. Crossbones and cherry mistakes, every bit of your heart is fake. I'm gonna kill my bullets, I'm gonna kill my gun, I'm gonna kill my bullets, that motherfucker should run. I'm gonna kill my bullets, I'm gonna kill my gun, I'm gonna kill my bullets, that motherfucker. And cherry mistakes, you know just how I feel. Crossbones and cherry mistakes, every bit of your heart is fake. I'm gonna kill my bullets, I'm gonna kill my gun, I'm gonna kill my bullets, that motherfucker should run. I'm gonna kill my bullets, I'm gonna kill my gun, I'm gonna kill my bullets, that motherfucker should, that motherfucker should, that motherfucker should run.
Man, that was a fun song. I don't know if y'all were moving at all. Made me want to move. It had that country feel, but it didn't feel like the fake stuff, which is the issue that I have with a lot of country music. I have a Southern accent because I'm from the South, but I hear so much like country music where it's just, they put it on so thick and it feels disingenuous. That is good music right there. That is energetic. That raspiness of the voice coming through, and just really, you can tell he had a lot of fun in the studio singing that song. The instruments sounded really good together. There was a good mix of, like I said, that acoustic guitar was adding some rhythmic stuff to it. It was also bringing in some low end, which acoustic guitar can do, just because of the body of the guitar kind of generates that more than an electric guitar would. The bass felt heavy. I couldn't hear the kick as much as I wanted to, but the snare was still coming through. Just one of those situations where the bass was probably drowning out the kick some, but that's about the only critique that I would have from that song, would be to get the kick to come through some more. Father Fahrenheit, really like the country vibe. It's straight to the point and I love it. Absolutely agree. That was a really cool song. Again, that is 87 and Pine with Crossbones and Cherry Mistakes. Relatively unknown artist with only 89 monthly listeners on Spotify. Let's do better than that. If you like that at all, go check out 87 and Pine and show some love for that, because that is really cool vibes, very energetic, a lot of fun music right there. Next up, number 2 of the day is going to be Jordan Cohan with a song called Roadkill. Let's check it out.
This ain't the first time I've been down this line. I know how it ends, but I'm still
I feel like this is going to be a good addition to follow up the first song.
I ask for a dance, I just need a little bit of romance. You take my hand and then you show me the way.
So I like the use, again, just like the last song, having the acoustic guitar used as some rhythmic elements to start the song.
You're here for me, I hear tonight, calling in the sheets. So you lay
Having those hits in there is keeping the song moving.
Stop. You turn around, you leave me alone. I'm looking like a deer in headlights, blinded by you tonight. Too afraid to move, but too afraid to
okay, I like the bass line.
Hit the brakes before it's too late. You'll run me over and then you'll drive away. I'm roadkill. That made everything go bad. I played and
So the drums sound a little thin to me.
Roadkill.
I got a lot of reverb on that.
Just when I'm
The snare is cutting through more than the rest of it. I can tell there's a lot of reverb, at least on the snare, if not on the whole kit. That could be why it's sounding somewhat thin to me right now.
Spit it out. It's a pity how hypocritical I've come because of you. Not once because of you. Had to learn a lesson about the drunk confessions, all the second guessing, all the midnight messing around. I was down for a little while, looked around for a reason to smile. Now I found a light that I'm running to. Hope it leads far away from you.
Loving that guitar. Loving that. Such a good tone for a song like this.
Looking like a deer in headlights, blinded by you tonight. Too afraid to move, but too afraid to go toward your light. Hit the brakes before it's too late. You run me over and then you'll drive away. And I'm roadkill. I'm roadkill. Hit the brakes before it's too late. You run me over and then you'll drive away. I'm roadkill.
Okay, Jordan. I see you. I see you, brother. I hear you. Awesome, awesome song, Jordan. Again, that was Jordan Cohan, who's here in the live with us right now. The song is called Roadkill. I know I fixated some on the drums. I'm big on having the drums provide a lot of the energy. When everything cut out and you heard a lot of reverb on the drums, I think that's part of why it sounded thin to me. When you're using reverb, make sure that all of the instruments are sort of on the same level. It doesn't have to be the exact amount of reverb be the same on every instrument, but you do want all of the instruments to sound like they're in the same room together. So a song like this, like I feel like this is, I'm sitting at a restaurant or a bar or something, and this band comes up and they start playing a song like that, and it just grabs my attention. Like, oh, this is fun. It almost had like a ska feel to it, if that makes sense, like ska without the horns, but it was super, super entertaining. The voice was really fantastic. Would have liked to hear some more harmonies. I know they were sprinkled in. I feel like I've gotten to the point where I experiment a lot with adding multiple harmonies wherever I can, and it really just takes the production to a new level. So I know it was sprinkled in there. It wouldn't have hurt to add some more, but it was super interesting, would have caught my attention. So I wanted to hear the instruments sound like I was sitting in that restaurant or that bar, and then this band shows up and starts just absolutely killing it. Again, we're talking just things to take your music to the next level, right? If you had have gotten the reverb right and made me feel like I was sitting there with the drum set and the instruments and everything all in the same room, it just would have elevated the song to the next level. So would definitely suggest listening very carefully next time you go to mix a song. Try to get it to where everything sounds like it's in the same room. But absolutely amazing song. I love the tone of the guitars. Your tone of your voice is really cool. That bass line was really fun. It really worked well with the song. So good job, Jordan Cohan, with your song Roadkill. Thank you for submitting that. All right, Jordan said, thanks so much for all the feedback, brother. You are very welcome. It's not about me, it's about you guys, because if you don't submit music, if you don't want to participate in what I'm doing here, this thing doesn't exist. I'm just here to try to help in whatever way that I possibly can. There are a lot of people who know a lot more than I do. I just feel like I've learned enough to maybe help with some basic principles to help you get a little bit better. And I wish somebody would have told me this kind of stuff before I had to figure it out the hard way. So that's what I want to do for you guys. Next up today is the All Togethers with a song called Self-Defense. I think we have a theme of the day.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swore that I'd never make it out alive. Well, you got that right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The bottle's empty, but I ain't done. No, not by a damn sight. We're going down together. 'Cause I'll be the tenth of. I'll be the tenth of you. Be the tenth of. You be the tenth of me. 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 mile lamb straight in front of me. 8, 7, 6, and 5. I'm still drinking 'cause I'm still alive. Oh, it's time to remedy. We're going down together 'cause I'll be the tenth of. I'll be the tenth of you. Be the tenth of. You be the tenth.
Okay, so that bass line feels really good. I want more of it. Since we don't have, there's no drums. So we're relying on a lot of rhythmic from the acoustic guitar, and that bass is just kind of a walking doot, doot, doot. And so I would have just brought up that bass some more. And I feel like the vocals themselves are not necessarily thin, but I think the term is tinny, where there's a good bit of high end and not quite enough low end. And we're done. That was a short and to the point song. Super awesome song. I really dig that. Love the vibe of it. But as far as feeling the song, since we don't have a drum kit to provide that energy, I feel like the acoustic guitars did a great job. That bass that was just kind of a walking bass line. Give me more of that, because it was EQ'd well. I just wanted more of it so I could really feel the movement of the song. The acoustic guitar was probably the best part of all of that. The vocals were good, but they could be better. The harmonies were really cool, but the problem is if your main vocal and your harmonies are fighting for the same frequencies, it kind of defeats the purpose of the harmonies. So the harmonies are really supposed to bring in another element to make the vocals feel very full. The basic idea of a harmony is you're almost creating chords with your vocals. And so just in that case, it's not that you were not doing a good job of that. It was more so that there was just a lot of it up in the higher frequencies. It sounds like maybe you got a little too heavy-handed with a high-pass filter and took away too much of the low end, or maybe you went into the high frequencies and put a shelf on it. And just, that's a pretty typical thing to do with vocals, is to help them sit in the mix. You can put a shelf on the high end, and that just creates some air. So what I heard in that was one of the two, or maybe both, where there's just too much air and not enough guts to the vocals, I guess you would say. Really cool song, and I really liked it. Those are just the critiques that I have. So maybe something to keep in mind next time you are mixing vocals. But thank you for sharing that song. Again, that was the All Togethers with a song called Self-Defense. It's available over on Bandcamp. So you said my high pass might have been a bit heavy-handed. And this is what I talked a lot about last week. When you are mixing your instruments, and vocal is an instrument, don't solo out your instrument to do your EQ. EQ in reference to everything else. If I was listening to that and I was EQing your vocals, I would have heard pretty quickly that there was a lot more room in the lower end for the vocals. Try that out next time you are giving it a go. Somewhere on the other side of my basement is a fire alarm that the battery is dying. You know how it just does the random beep? And I spent some time this morning trying to find it. I don't know where it is. I was laughing at myself because it was straight out of a movie of me like walking a few steps and then sitting there listening and then it not going off. And as soon as I start moving again, you hear the beep again, literally out of a movie. And so I'm hearing it now. Every now and then it's like somebody just dragged their shoe on the basketball court. It's really making me angry right now. I was busy building sound panels this morning and didn't get around to actually finding that. That's a problematic frequency. Let's just say I won't be recording anything until I find that. All right, so next up on our list of songs submitted this week, this is a artist or band called Shudder with a song called Fall. Shudder, if you are still here, say hey so everybody can see you and they can go follow you when they hear your awesome music. So next up is Shudder with a song called Fall. There he is. What's up? You are, my man. Yeah, I really like the style. I really like the way that the guitars are sounding and the vocals. The vocals are sitting too far back in the mix. And just like we heard earlier with the drums, there's a lot of reverb on the vocals, and that's part of why it's getting pushed back. It's a game we have to play every time we mix. Love the distortion on the bass. I feel like this has a nice blend of like, you know, typical like rock guitars with like an indie / pop punk vocals. I feel like it's a nice blend of like 3 different genres. So those the rhythm guitars could use sort of shift that high pass filter a little bit more to the right next time. Rhythm guitars can bring in a lot of low end. You couldn't have given me one more hook. Yeah, it was a really catchy chorus. I would have thrown it in one more time right there, I think. And we ended at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I think if you're under 4 minutes, you're perfectly fine if you want to add a little bit more production to your song. That's just what I would have done. If you're under 3 minutes, I feel like you really have the ability to add some more. So you made me want it, and I wanted just a little bit more before you cut it off, but that's okay. I think I mentioned everything that I have critique-wise throughout the song. The rhythm guitars were low-end heavy. The drums could have come up more. You know, I'm big on having the drums always being a focal point of some sort, because that's just going to add more energy to your song. If you lose your drums, you lose a lot of your energy. That song had a lot of really good energy. I would have brought the drums up, limited the amount of reverb that was used on the main vocal so that they sit more forward in the mix. But overall, really like it. Like I said, it was a nice like genre mix. I really like your vocals. And even though the vocals were sitting too far back in the mix, in my opinion, I could still hear the lyrics and I could still get a feeling for what fall meant. If it was a metaphor or not, we were talking about a fall due to drugs, and I like your voice and I like just the melody and everything there. So let the drums bring the energy. Always listen to your rhythm guitars and pay attention to the low end that they're going to bring in. Move the low end of your rhythm guitars out of the way. Let your bass do that, especially since you use distortion on your bass guitar. If I was using a bass guitar with distortion, absolutely going to push that high pass filter even more than normal, maybe even all the way up to 200 hertz, just to leave room for the bass guitar. But really like the song. Thank you so much for submitting that. I think you are pretty awesome. So good job. All right, so I want to make sure we get to as much as we can before Cawston comes on the show. That is an interview that I am excited about and looking forward to. Just like with 2 weeks ago when Andy Negative came on for the interview, that was his first time to do a TikTok live. And apparently this is going to be the first time that Cawston has done a TikTok live. This is really cool that I'm getting to get people out of their comfort zone a little bit and get on TikTok live. The reason I do TikTok live and I'm not on other platforms doing this is because I think TikTok has a great setup for interaction on these lives. Not saying that other platforms don't have that, but I really like the way TikTok does this. There are some shortcomings and there's some downfalls to TikTok's live application, but overall I'm really enjoying the interaction that we get to have here on a weekly basis and do a live show together, because it's not just me talking into a screen. We actually get to interact with each other and listen to some really cool music. Up next is Scott's band Iron Oxhide. And Scott, I feel like I owe you an apology. I have not listened to your new song yet. I saw it in the Discord. I was going to give it a listen couple of days ago, got busy at work, and then I saw that you submitted the song, I think yesterday, and so I was like, hey, that kind of worked out the way that I would like it to, because I like being able to hear it for the first time. Very rarely have I listened to the music, the whole song, before I do this. I do listen to like 20-30 seconds of the song just so I get an idea of what's going to go on my show, but I don't really listen to the whole thing because I want my interaction and my review to be from the heart and completely legit. So when I'm doing these reviews, this is not prepared. This is real time, just what I'm hearing as I'm listening to it, as you guys are listening to it with me. So it's actually kind of cool that I haven't had the chance to listen to it yet, because this is going to be a good time to do that. This is my buddy here, who's also a moderator and friend. Scott is here with us. This is his band Iron Oxhide, and this is a brand new song, Bottom of the Deep Blue Sea. So you've already done something good that I see people missing out on, is giving some sort of rhythmic element to start the song without bringing in everything. So many people miss that. And Scott, your voice sounds great as always. Okay, I can't hear the drums as much as I want to. That bass line sounds really good though. Very Incubus-like. Really, this whole thing so far is very Incubus. Reminds me of Incubus. Was that you screaming, Scott? And here goes Scott with the guitar work. Hitting us with some synth. it's a bit heavy. Yeah, that synth element you just brought in, I feel like it's a little too far front. Very nice vocal effect in that. So if I'm not mistaken, I think you had said that this was your first deep dive into mixing your band's music. Could be wrong, but I think that's what I saw you talking about in the Discord. Yeah, so what I was saying about a synth, so there was, I don't know, it was some sort of effect. I'm assuming it was some sort of synth effect that came in, and it was louder than everything else that was going on at the time, or it could have just been panned differently, so I heard it stand out some. It could have just been a guitar effect. It may not even been a synth. I'm not sure. It kind of took over when it came in. Drums could have come up some more. I keep talking about this. I want more energy from drums. The bass line and obviously your guitar work were really, really good. The bass line was very Incubus-like. Your guitar work is fantastic as always. You always have really great tones. You are a master of arpeggios, as was mentioned in the chat. You do that very, very well. I think you did a pretty good job of getting that to line up with the drums. Not perfect, but definitely right on where it needed to be. So one thing I would mention with her vocals, I feel like the doubled vocal, it's very similar. There's not enough harmonies coming in to add more definition to her vocal. So whereas they're really, really good, I think you could just really take it to the next level by adding some different harmonies in there to go with it. You could have a male vocalist even go in there. You could have her do it, maybe an octave down, singing softly. Or, you know, sometimes people will do like a whisper track. You just bring it in just to the point of being able to hear it in the mix and then just dial it back a little. And it just adds some definition. It keeps that higher register vocal from sounding too thin. But overall, really good. I'm being super picky with you because I know you well and I want you to do really, really well and learn some stuff. So those were some notes that I would have given you had I listened to it before you released it, but I'm really proud of you for taking that on, and you did a great job. And again, if that is your first time to mix one of your own songs, you knocked it out of the park, man. Super proud of you. So for those that are here, that is our buddy Scott, who is here. That is his band Iron Oxhide with a song called Bottom of the Deep Blue Sea, which is brand new. Yeah, so he said, boy, keep on mentioning adding a ton of vocal layers. I will definitely be experimenting. Vocal layers are that thing that takes a vocal production to the next level, takes a mix to the next level. It also takes a lot of time to do it right. As you experiment with adding vocal layers to your songs, one of the things that you're going to need to do that I did not do when I first started adding a lot of vocal layers, lining up your vocals. There's things like Vocaline. I don't personally use that. I probably do it the hard way, but I learned vocal layers need to be lined up near perfection to sound right. If they're not lined up right, the ones that are not lined up stand out and they don't sound as good as they can. Just something to keep in mind is when you are adding vocal layers to your mix, make sure that every vocal is in line with each other. That is a lesson that I learned that I wish I had somebody tell me, make sure to do it that way. It'll save yourself from finishing a song and then listening to it going, man, I sure wish I had have paid more attention to the alignment of the vocals. Yeah, we have a question. How long ago did you start producing? There's a difference in producing and mixing. Sometimes the same person does multiple jobs, but I do think there's a difference between what production is and what engineering is. What I consider production is the arrangement, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Again, a little bit different from songwriting. It's an aspect of songwriting, but it's also separate. That's what I think is production. The production that I do on my songwriting, there's some that goes on post recording, but usually my song arrangement and everything is done before I record. I guess I would say as far as production goes, I've been producing longer than I've been recording and engineering. My first time in the studio was 2006. That was my first experience of getting some help on the production side of things. But like once you get into the studio, you realize that you do need some production help. 2006, when I went in, I recorded an EP. I didn't technically produce that. So when I went back into the studio for a song that is on my Spotify called Sweet Lullabies, that was 2008. And that was one that I got to work with the engineer on actually producing. Well, that was a song that I wrote the last time Part-Time Poet was a band. The drummer and the lead guitarist are the two that recorded with me. I recorded the rest of everything. They left the studio and I helped the engineer produce that. To answer your question, since 2008. What's in the works for Part-Time Poet? Well, I just released that new song. Was that last week, 2 weeks ago? So what's next for Part-Time Poet, or what's in the works? Musically, I think Darren and I are going to revisit a song that we started. I think we're going to revisit that. My next song is going to be high energy because the last couple have not been high energy. And so we've got something that we just need to revisit. Really just nothing in the works at the moment. My thing is I want to get J-Rod to finish his parts. So we have a placeholder cover. My guitar parts are done and the stems are available to J-Rod whenever he's ready to record drums. And then Darren will record bass, and we will we may have to find a vocalist at this point. He's been busy. He's getting married next week, so I can't hold it against him. But hey, before we lose out on these last couple of submissions, let's jump into it. This is Michael Angelus with Built for the Bar.
Hopping around, enjoying my youth.
So right off the bat, I feel like that acoustic guitar is a little there's something going on. Like it sounds like it's slightly out of tune, but then there's some high end like string buzz that keeps happening. That's just a recording technique. You got to get that. You got to get recorded solidly. The vocals are really cool. I like your tone. I get some classic rock vibes off of your vocals. The high end from the acoustic guitar is just it's distracting me. Yeah, I hear some kind of oohs and ahs harmonies. That's always good for a song like this. Good job. See you, Scott. Yeah, interview will be in about 15.
Don't
I like that little shaky, shaky.
With my guitar, but until I'm 21, I shouldn't be in the bar. Whoa, 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 I shouldn't be in the bar.
As much as I like that, I forget what's the instrument that you're bringing in there. I forget what it's called. I really like that, but it was so clear compared to everything else. You can kind of tell that's a virtual instrument, I'm assuming, because it just sounds so much cleaner than the rest of the instruments did. Really cool song. I like your vocals a lot. I like the feel of the song. I like how the drums and the acoustic guitar really sort of complemented the rhythm. But like I said, with the acoustic guitar, there was some high-end issues. There was a slight detuning of the guitar. So again, this is very, very picky stuff. So when you're going to record, before you do your take, make sure that your instrument is in tune, even if it was just in tune 2 or 3 takes ago. Tune it often, because if you record with an off-tuned instrument, then when you have a properly tuned instrument, it's going to sound weird. It's going to make you realize something's off. Tune your instruments often while you're recording. Always make sure to get solid takes. So with acoustic guitar, one of the things I do is I always change my strings before I record a song. That can bring some clarity. If you have some old strings on a guitar, that can cause problems like string buzz. That can be a cool element, just like the slide up and down on the strings can be really, really nice. But in that case, the string buzz had a really weird high frequency issue to it that was just kind of distracting. Fresh strings, solid takes, and I think you'd be on the right path. So good job. Really like that song. Father Fahrenheit, who's here in the chat again. Jackson, you've been fantastic. Love that you're becoming a regular here, and it's been fun interacting with you for sure. So I really appreciate you letting us listen to something else. So this is over on YouTube. This looks like a TikTok video that you've uploaded to YouTube. It's only 1.5 minutes long, but it is called Perfect by Father Fahrenheit. We've obviously got a little more reverb than what you would normally put on a song, but this is a good instance where the added reverb really does work. So that is Perfect by Father Fahrenheit. That is the bedroom pop vibe that I am starting to really, really enjoy. Don't ever take what I have to say and just be like, that is the end all be all, because it's a case to case thing. So before, if there was too much reverb on a track, you would say, well, this one had too much reverb on it, right? But what is too much? It's all relative. This is an instance where heavier reverb really works for the song. When I say that there's too much reverb on something, it's because it was too much reverb for that track. Not necessarily just too much reverb, but just in relation to the song and the other instruments. So what happened there is there was a lot more reverb than some of the other things we listened to today. Didn't everything sound like it was working together cohesively? Didn't it sound like everything was in the same room? That's the goal. The goal is doing what is right for your track. It's not going to be the same every time you mix a track. It's going to be different. You need to just learn how to get the end result to be what it's supposed to be. And I know that's very vague, but welcome to the world of mixing music. It's a very vague thing. What works for one thing doesn't always work for the other. You have to learn what works and what basic principles make your track clean and what makes people want to listen. Another really great but short track from Father Fahrenheit. That was so smooth, man. Good job. This bedroom pop style, which is just sort of a lo-fi, but I don't know, it's starting to grow on me more and more when I hear stuff like that. Yeah, so you said sort of reminds of Coldplay's singer. Yeah, I don't know his name, but I can see that. Yeah, your vocals are really, really good. Just very smooth, easy listening. So great job. So I really look forward to this every week. This is a lot of fun for me to do. I love reviewing people's music. I love giving you guys a platform to be heard and get some critique that is not coming from a place of negativity. I genuinely want to help people get better. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I feel like I get better every time I work on a song, but I want that for you guys. But I also want this to be an amazing platform that is truly beneficial for you. I really hope that this show grows just so we can get it in front of more of an audience. I don't care if people watch me. I want a bigger audience so that you guys get more out of this. All that to say, as much as I love reviewing music, I really like doing these interviews, being able to promote musicians and give y'all an opportunity to come on here and talk about yourselves. So today we are being blessed with Cawston. They're going to come on in just a couple of minutes. Super excited to do this. I know Sinclair is super excited. I have been on the Cawston fan wagon for a little while now. J-Rod introduced me, and I've really enjoyed this. And to get the opportunity to have you come on the show today for what I believe is your first time to do a TikTok live is really cool to me. But I'm really excited to have Cawston come on here. I want to play their newest single so that you can get an idea of who is about to come on. So here is Cawston with Borderline, their newest single.
Time
So is this the first TikTok live? Is that right?
Sure is.
All right.
Didn't know how to do it, but now we do.
Right.
Well, how are you guys doing today?
What are you doing?
Just hanging out, really. I was watching some weird Matrix movie, just talking about like living in a simulation.
A little early in the day for that, but I could go into that for a very long time. But usually I have a bit of inebriation happening before we jump into these existential crisis conversations. So we'll try to keep it a little bit more light than that today and just focus on fun stuff like music. Thank y'all so much for coming on here. Me trying to do what I'm doing here does not happen if people like you are not being a part of it. So happy to have you a part of this and experience your first TikTok live. Why don't y'all take a minute and just introduce yourself?
I'm Lexi. I play the guitar and sing.
And you sing.
Yeah.
You're a great singer.
I forgot.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I am the lead vocalist, and we are Cawston from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. And we would like to call ourselves like a pop punk band, alternative, punk rock, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, people like to give us different genres all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure, whatever you want to call it. Love it.
Genres are fluid.
Yes.
Genre fluid.
You're genre fluid. I love it.
Y'all can use that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to kind of follow you guys for a little while. I'm a pop punk guy. That's my genre of choice. I'm an elder emo, so like pop punk and all that sort of stuff is my vibe 100%. Female vocals, even better. Cawston, the name Cawston, give us some background. What does the name Cawston mean?
So Cawston is the street that I lived on. Me and Lexi always happened to live like one street away from each other. Like for some reason, he always follows me around. Cawston was the street that we lived on where we wrote pretty much all our singles. That's the biggest significance. I also got married in a place called Cawston, so there's that as well.
That word has had a significant meaning in your life.
For myself, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And I make all the decisions, so I'm like, we're gonna name our band Cawston.
As long as I get to play guitar still, we're cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at your Spotify bio. It said that you had rebranded the band last year in 2021. So what was Cawston before, and how is it different now than it was before this rebrand?
We were called Bloom before, BL00M. That was kind of one of the big factors we changed because it was really hard to like, go, hey, Google, play Bloom or whatever, but you could never find something. You have to be like BL00M, and even that didn't even work half the time.
We started in 2015, and that's when we actually grabbed that name. And as the years went by, more and more people had the name Bloom. Obviously, there's a huge post-hardcore band in Australia called Bloom. I think there's another Bloom in the USA. So we have had a few band members here and there kind of cycle out through the band, and we kind of had a good solid core going into 2021. So we kind of sat down, we went through a few names and decided, we're going to change it to Cawston. We're kind of going to rebrand. We're going to go more the pop punk direction because when we were under Bloom, it was a little bit more like post-hardcore kind of influences, a little bit heavier. That was kind of the reason for changing it. We just wanted to start fresh and just go a little bit of a different direction with more of a vision.
One of our core members in Bloom was like the old drummer, and he helped like write everything, and then we parted ways with him. So that's kind of like another reason why we changed from Bloom to Cawston, just to have a different direction completely from like that experience, I guess.
Pretty much it. And we just didn't really want to have ties with that anymore. We wanted to write new stuff, fresh stuff. So yeah, no, we have a new drummer, Devin. He kind of came into when we were Bloom as well. We were starting to transition at that point anyways. So Lexi and I, we started the band with our old drummer, and now we have a new drummer, and it's just the three of us still. It's how we like it. 5 people in the band at one time, and that was just too many people. Yeah, we do go with 3.
5 people can get very, very difficult to work with. I mean, it's hard enough to collaborate with other people, but 5 people's a lot.
We lost your can we hear you now? Hello? Oh my god, hang on 1 second. Oh my god, 1 second.
This isn't violence, this is just a warm head. Give it some, but it never seems to end. I feel fire in the back of my throat, so let's get covered in flames and play some games with smoke.
I think we're hearing unreleased music. What in the world just happened?
Are we still here? So sorry. My friend pulled up
Yeah, I
in my
got
car
you.
and my Bluetooth went to my car speaker.
Yeah, was that was
still
that an
hear me?
unintentional leaked new song?
No, that was Paris. If anybody knows who Paris is. Oh my god, that was ridiculous. I'm so sorry. Wow, I didn't know that could
Perfectly
happen.
fine.
Oh my
Welcome to
God,
TikTok
that's
Live.
too funny. Well, at least it's entertaining, right?
I mean, if it's not entertaining, nobody watches anyway. So everybody else is having a really good time. So don't sweat it. The pop punk genre, it seems to be making a huge comeback. And what I've noticed is Canada, y'all seem to be in the forefront of this new wave of pop punk. Like, I know there's some really good stuff here in the US, but it seems like week after week I'm talking to Canadians now. What is it with you guys? Tell me about why that might be the case. Is there something in the water, or like what is it that you guys are doing differently up there, our neighbors to the north, that seem to just be on this
Actually,
front line of new pop punk?
We've been on such a down low, and I feel like now we're really just getting our shit together. Am I allowed to say shit on here? Yeah, I think so. I think that we're just getting more noticed now because we have that opportunity. I think like social media and stuff like that is a big help. We just have some really, really freaking talented people in this country, like, especially in like Toronto area, surrounding around there too. There's a lot of great bands out there, you know, In Case We Crash, like huge fans of those guys out there. And in BC here, you know, you got Chief State. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Well, that's maybe your next interview there. And then Calling All Captains, as you may know as well. So yeah, I think we're just getting more and more bands are coming out, and I think there's become more opportunity for musicians to be successful in Canada. We're all a little angsty, especially over the past 2 years, you know, been cooped up, writing music and ready to get out there.
Like you were saying, all these elder emos, right? They've been writing all these songs and listening to these songs for years. All these influences they've had over the years are finally coming together, and with all the new stuff too, like coming out, and it's good music.
It's great music. We love it. Everybody can enjoy a good pop punk tune.
For me growing up, there was that California pop punk, and it just seems like maybe this new wave is coming from you guys up in Canada. Pop punk has never really been the scene here in my area. As I was growing up, I was like, as soon as I'm 18, I'm moving to California and I'm going to be in a pop punk band and be a rock star. But now if I was growing up, I'd be like, I need to get up to Canada and just hang out with all these people because y'all got something going on. I don't know what it is, but
We just like to have fun.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe y'all are just having more fun than we are now.
Yeah, California vibes going on. We got a big lake, and it's sunny over here, so
they
it makes
call
sense.
Kelowna Kelownafornia, so that's probably what's happening.
It's a different style of pop punk from what I grew up with. There's something more substantial to it, and I like to say that like my music went from being about, you know, having fun and hanging out during the summer and going to the beach. It kind of evolved to mental health, the stuff that we all go through, you know, being an elder emo, like waking up in the morning and going, and why am I hungover? I didn't drink last night. It's like, oh, I'm just in my 30s now. So like that's just life now, I guess. So pop punk is making a comeback, but there's still an element to it that's very nostalgic, and it's for this generation. I've got an 8-year-old daughter, and she really likes Simple Plan's I'm Just a Kid because it's singing about a kid. And I'm like, this is so cool because now this younger generation is getting into the same music that I grew up with.
Heck yeah. I got a funny little story about Simple Plan. They commented on one of our videos on TikTok, and we were trying to campaign to get on their tour, but the tour got canceled, so that was really sad. But they're like, we'll ask The Offspring if you guys can join, and then their tour got canceled. So yeah, you know, almost. We're almost there.
Just keep plugging away and it'll happen. It seems like every female-led vocal, especially if you're doing like the pop punk thing, Hayley Williams is the benchmark, right? I know that comparison comes up, and I don't even really want to go down that road. You've done some Stand Atlantic. You did a cover of that, and I feel like that's more your vibe than maybe the Paramore comparison. What are y'all's biggest musical influences that kind of influence the way that you make music?
I'm going to say one thing about the Paramore references. In Borderline, I don't know if you heard it in the second verse, but I say, I'm not in the business for misery, despite what you've heard of me. So I did that just for like all the female vocalists that always get compared to Paramore. I thought it was pretty funny. And so I had to put that little Paramore reference in there because it's true. You know, no matter what you sound like, I sound nothing like Hayley Williams. Her vocals are so fucking incredible. I don't even come close to what her range is, but I have my own range and I have my own style, and it works for me, right? So we have other influences. So yes, I love Stand Atlantic. I definitely like find myself aligning with their sound a little bit more. We've also got compared to like A Day to Remember vibes, especially like in our older sounds as well. For my influences, you know, growing up listening to My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy and this and that. So I like to bring like the early 2000s vibe into our sound here in 2022. We're taking like the newer stuff, you know, like the Stand Atlantic kind of bands, and then also like the early 2000s. That's kind of how my writing style, for sure.
Yeah, like a lot of like the California pop punk, like you said. I listened to a lot of Newfound Glory growing up, and I really like speed punk, like, you know, ga 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 ga, and like metal. Like I played a lot of metal. You could hear it in all our songs, like the fast drums, like how it goes. That was always raised or listening growing up, and I'm like, I just love fast music, so I always kind of wanted to throw it in there. Metal and fast pop punk kind of thing, definitely my thing.
Those were your influences. Yeah, when I first met Lexi, he was in like more of like a metal band. Oh, I guess no.
Yeah, it was like superhero.
Superhero.
It was like metal pop punk. So
yeah,
it
was cool. It was really cool.
That's that point where you're just pulling different genres out of a hat and pushing them together. Metal, like, pop punk.
And then we used to do 8-string breakdown out of nowhere. So
which you still do.
Yeah, still do.
If you could pick one band to go on tour with, what would that band be?
One band?
Newfound Glory. I would definitely tour with those guys. I could just sit there and listen to them all day, and then just like share a stage with them would be pretty awesome.
I can't pick one band, but I would love to go on a tour with like just female fronted bands. So you like Meet Me at the Altar, Yours Truly, and Stand Atlantic. Like if I could do that, that would freaking make me so happy. Like a bunch of badasses, female fronted bands. Rocking out. Yeah. Girl power.
Girl power.
We have a music festival called Furnace Fest, and it's here in Birmingham. They're releasing the lineup, and Newfound Glory is actually one of the bands that's headlining one of the days.
What did you call it?
It's called Furnace Fest.
Yeah, Kevin was talking about that. My buddy.
Oh yes, I think I saw a bunch of.
Yeah, our graphic designer. He's going to that. He's so excited. Yeah.
Okay, well, apparently we need to link up because that's where I'm from.
Are we going to Alabama? You got a couch for us to sleep on? We're coming to Alabama.
Anybody that wants to come hang out in Birmingham, we do have a cool music festival. So you mentioned Newfound Glory. I've never seen them live, so I'm excited about it.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen them twice, yeah.
This show is very much for independent musicians trying to find their voice and trying to figure some things out. And you guys have obviously figured out some things that a lot of people haven't. What does your songwriting process look like? And then also, like, what does your recording and mixing look like? And if you guys are doing that yourself or if you're working with other people, be very curious to know a little bit more about that.
It's usually a team effort between the two of us. Lexi and I write together very well, and we're usually very much on the same page. And if we think something sucks, we'll tell each other, and no hard feelings, and we go on and move on and make something magical.
Make it
better. Yeah. Usually what will happen is I'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning whispering something into my phone that I heard while I was trying to sleep, and then I'll send it to Lexi, and he'll be like, what the frick is that? And then I'm like, I wrote it last night. Isn't that great? I'm not very good at guitar, but I'll write a little something on the guitar, and then I'll show it to Lexi, and then he'll make it 10 times better. And then we just kind of work together on lyrics, and or Lexi will write the whole thing, and I'll just put my little 2 cents in with lyrics, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing like guitar like all the time. I have like thousands of voice memos of just like little riffs or just little things. So it's just like, oh, I got something to that I could, do, and then we work on
and then
that
it
one
will match
riff.
with like lyrics that I have in my phone.
For some reason, and then we'll go from there, and then me and her will write like probably the whole song structure wise, then I'll get together with the drummer and we'll like acoustically we'll write it, and then we'll get together with the drummer, me and him, and we'll write it like more electric and add some parts to make it more.
So mostly it's Lexi. He's usually the genius of it all. He's a very talented man. And then
thank you.
You're so welcome. And then for like mixing and recording, we have a buddy here, Jordan Chase from Udalali. I can't never say it properly.
Udalali, isn't it?
Udalali. I can't say it properly. So it's our buddy Jordan Chase here in Kelowna. So yeah, he is the one that does the production. He is the engineer. He does mixing and mastering.
It hits home with the voice memo thing, because mine is like right as I'm pulling into the parking lot at work, and I've like been singing this line like the whole way there.
Yeah.
And as soon as I get into the parking lot, I just pull out my I do a video. And so I've just got these videos in my phone of like the inside of my car of me just like really singing very poorly some line just to try to revisit later. But I forget about like 90% of them. And so my phone is just full of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to go through it.
Back though, and you're like, wow, I have so many songs that I can write. But then you're also
Yeah.
like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, some of them are like,
Yeah.
what was I
You're
doing?
like, I don't know.
That's very true. A lot of good ideas come right before you fall asleep too, right? Yeah, that thing that I thought was amazing at 2 a.m. and then you listen to it the next day and it's like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Not
You guys have the opportunity to work with somebody to where you can focus on the writing and the recording and then being able to hand that off to somebody to make your music sound amazing, because it really does. And a lot of us don't have that same situation. And so part of what I'm trying to do is trying to, you know, kind of network musicians together. If there's something that independent musicians can't or don't want to do, or they like focusing on something and not these other things, there's this community of musicians and resources. I mean, you can find somebody to do that, but that's really cool that y'all have the opportunity to do that.
we're doing what we can. I do a lot of trades because I'm a hairstylist. So trading with a lot of people it works really well.
When I write music, there is something I want to present to the world, and there's a statement I want my music to make, and I think a lot of musicians are like that. So as far as you guys go, what statement do you want your music to make to the people listening to it?
When I write, it's not like the music, it's like a song. Like each song has a different statement or
Yeah,
a different
that's true.
thing to me,
Yeah.
right? Like it's
Like
not
borderline.
like Borderline or June 16th. Like they're
Yeah.
all like different things I wanted to say at that point in time.
I'm a huge advocate for mental health. So a lot of things that I write are about my mental health mostly.
Yeah.
When I'm writing, it's pretty focused on mental health and just knowing that people, you know, you're not alone and other people are going through the same things. And so when people hear my music, they're like, oh, I feel that way too. It's like, yeah, a lot of people do, and you're not alone. And yeah, that's basically kind of like my statement, is just being able to support people and, you know, also show people that girls can do this too. And, you know, I'm definitely female empowerment. And, you know, I've had comments where people have told me that my voice isn't strong enough for this type of music, or I'm generic and boring, or whatever it may be. But like, what are you doing? You're probably sitting in your mom's basement with Cheeto fingers. Like, I don't know, like, show
Hot
me what
Cheeto
you got
fingers.
then. Hot Cheeto fingers, you know? Like, women are making a huge name in pop punk right now, and I'm so super proud to be a part of this era. I'm happy that I have support by my best friends and people like you, and yeah, mental health, woman empowerment, making statements in each single that we put out.
I love how y'all preface that with like, yeah, I don't know if we make a statement. And they're like, this is the statement we make.
Really, actually, my thought process. We're like, you know
Actually, there is a
what?
statement.
There is a statement. Just figured it out.
So now y'all know what your statement is, and
Love it.
now you've gone live on TikTok too. So
Yeah.
yeah, Sinclair asked, have y'all heard of Taylor Acorn?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, she's doing a really great job of very similar things that you just mentioned. Definitely that song, Do That Again, the acoustic one.
Okay.
That one freaking hits hard. Talking about like the doctor said to change my meds. I don't want to do that again. Like, I just love that we can share, you know, these things that were for so long not talked about. I would go play an open mic night. People would be like, can you play something happy? And I'm like, look, man, we live in a day and age where people think that their opinion is important for everybody to know. We grew up with a different social media than what exists now. But anytime anybody says anything like that, it's just not for them. That's my approach to it. If you don't like what I'm putting out there, that just means it wasn't for you. But if I stop putting out music, then the people it is for, they don't get that. Forget the Cheeto fingers. Keep making music and keep doing your thing, because you're doing a fantastic job of it. What is next for Cawston? What are you guys working on? What can we expect? What can we get excited about? We want to support you, but tell us what we can get excited about.
Well, we're starting to write new music. We actually have quite a few on the go right now.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of different influences in these songs, and I'm really excited to share them. It's obviously still like on the same direction that we've been going with pop punk and stuff like that, but we are having different influences, as in like Midwest emo. Like we have one song that's got a little bit of like guitar riffs in there that are a little bit more Midwest emo, which I'm a huge fan of. I'm like, Lexi, this is how you have to do it. We have a couple more singles to put out this year to complete that first era of Cawston. So I'm excited for that. And
hopefully those are out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Rather than the Borderline took a long time.
Hoping for July. And then just like looking to connect with some more people and get our name out there so that hopefully we can start touring. We got a couple dates just in BC here, but would love to make it out to the USA. That would be very exciting. Yeah. So that's what we're going to try to, that's our goal. So yeah, hopefully maybe next year you guys will see us in the States.
Got some new music coming up. You are playing some shows over there, trying to expand your ability to tour and things like that. So, but I'm assuming that you guys are on all the streaming platforms.
Got it.
As far as socials, you know, where else can other people connect and find you?
Yeah, everything is at Cawston Music. So Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, it's all under the same at Cawston Music. So yeah, if you want to send us an email, it's cawstonmusic@gmail.com. I don't know why we were emailing, but if you wanted to email us, that's where you can find us. We love to hear what people have to say, and if you just want to chat about music, we're always open. If I'm a little squirrely right now, I really have to pee.
Okay, well, I won't keep you anymore. Huge question here. Vans or Converse?
Vans.
I do have both those shining in the display.
I have
blue Converse and then a yellow pair of Vans and a pink pair of Vans. So I guess Vans. So there you go.
Lexi loves pink. Yeah. His favorite color.
So Vans, we're Team Vans. I'm with you on that.
Vans. Absolutely. Great question.
Team Vans.
Great question.
Before we wrap it up here, just if there's anything else that you'd like to say, I'd like to give you the chance to just close it out. Is there anything that you'd like to say to anybody watching?
Thank you so much. If you guys are in here and have been a follower or a supporter of us, thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching. Please go stream Borderline. And the more you stay away is almost at 20,000 streams, and that's a huge accomplishment for us. So keep streaming it because we're almost there, and that would be a huge goal. So listen to our music, watch our videos. I really appreciate the support, and we are excited to put out more music for you guys. And thank you, Devin, for having us for our first TikTok live.
Woo-woo.
Thank you. Thanks, Devin.
All right, bye guys.
Bye. Bye from Canada.